The first thing Naomi King noticed was the shadow. It stayed exactly 4 steps behind her as she moved past the marble entrance of the King Atelier flagship in downtown Chicago. The store was all glass, chrome, and curated perfection, her perfection. Her name glowed in silver letters outside. Inside, she was just another black woman in an oversized hoodie and distressed jeans. The shadow didn't know he was following the CEO. Naomi felt it before she fully saw it. Years of moving through boardrooms where she was the only black woman had trained her body to register threat before her mind gave it language. A shift in air. A stare held too long. A presence that didn't believe she belonged. She ran her fingers along a new season trench coat on a mannequin and watched the reflection in the glass. Jaw clenched. Name tag. His eyes didn't drift to the clothes. They stayed on her hands, like her fingertips were made of theft. He pretended to refold a scarf when she turned. Pretended not to be tracking her every step. She moved to the leather bag section. He moved with her. Naomi's chest tightened. She knew this game. She had been followed in drugstores as a teenage girl in the South Side. She had been randomly checked in airports wearing a $6,000 watch. But this was her empire. Her logo on every tag. Her designs on every mannequin. Her life's work stitched into every seam. And still, she was being hunted like a suspect. "Can I help you find something?" His tone was flat, fake polite, already suspicious. Naomi didn't answer. She lifted a bag, the one she had spent 6 months perfecting, and looked inside as if scrutinizing a stranger's work. 2 more employees glanced over. One whispered to a colleague. Naomi watched the whisper spread like a stain. The store manager, a blonde woman in a fitted blazer, name tag Lauren, looked up from the front desk. Her eyes scanned the store, landed on Naomi, then on Kyle, then sharpened. Naomi's phone buzzed. A text from her assistant. Board call at 3 p.m. New investor wants reassurance on brand image. Naomi's lips twitched at the irony. She exhaled, steady. She could end this in 1 sentence. "I'm Naomi King. I own this place." But she didn't say it. Because this was bigger than her ego. It was the exact thing she'd been warning her HR lead about for months. Quiet complaints from black customers. A DM about someone being followed. A review online, beautiful store, but staff made me feel watched. Data points she'd been collecting. Patterns she'd been mapping. And here it was live in front of her. "Ma'am?" Kyle was closer now. His voice carried just enough edge to be a threat wrapped in customer service. "Our luxury items are quite expensive. If you're just looking, we have a more casual section in the outlet across the street." There was. The insult disguised as guidance. The assumption that she did not belong in the part of the store she built with her own sleepless nights. Naomi's jaw tightened. A customer nearby pulled out her phone, pretending to check messages, but the camera was angled just right. The moment had an audience. Lauren walked over, smile stiff. "Is everything okay here?" Kyle replied before Naomi could speak. "I've been observing some suspicious behavior. She keeps touching the bags, looking inside, moving around fast. Just want to make sure everything is secure." Suspicious. She was suspicious in a store where her face had once been on the launch billboard. Naomi looked right at Lauren. "I'm just shopping." Lauren's smile never reached her eyes. "Of course. But we do have protocols. Would you mind opening your bag for a quick check?" The store went quiet. Naomi felt heat rush to her face. She was wearing a $30 hoodie over a tank top, leggings, beat-up sneakers, from her morning run. No stylist. No armor. Just a black woman in casual clothes being publicly searched. The phone camera in the corner lifted higher. Another customer turned their camera too. The cruelty was now content. Naomi opened her crossbody bag slowly. It contained keys to her penthouse, a black titanium card that could buy the entire store 10 times over, and a folded document with the mall's upcoming lease reports. Lauren peeked inside like she was searching for something dirty. "She hasn't taken anything," she finally said. "But we'll ask you to keep your hands off the merchandise unless you're ready to purchase. Security will walk you out if there's any more issues." Security? In her own store. Naomi's heart slammed against her ribs. A part of her wanted to scream her title, her net worth, her Forbes feature. Another part felt 16 again, being watched while buying lip gloss. Both versions of her collided in her chest. She slowly zipped her bag. "Noted," she said quietly. Naomi turned and walked toward the exit as Kyle shadowed her, still, subtly, tracking. The phone stayed lifted. Someone whispered, "This is insane," as she passed. At the glass doors, Naomi paused. Her logo shimmered faintly above her head. For a flash, she imagined ripping it down, burning the store to the ground. Instead, she walked out. On the sidewalk, the cold air slapped her cheeks. Her phone buzzed again. A DM from a random account. "Hey, are you okay? I recorded what they did. This needs to be seen." Naomi swallowed hard. She hadn't said who she was. But the world was about to find out exactly what had just happened inside King Atelier. And what she did next would decide whether this was just another ugly incident or the start of a war. The video hit 2 million views in 12 hours. By morning, Naomi's face was everywhere. Hoodie, messy bun, no makeup, standing by the marble display as Lauren checked her bag like she was a criminal. Hashtag King Atelier racist, hashtag shopping while black, hashtag not your security risk. The captions were vicious and precise. Someone had zoomed in on Lauren's expression. Someone slowed the frame where Kyle whispered, "Suspicious." Someone else stitched the clip with screenshots of the brand's glossy diversity statements. The internet did what the internet does. Her PR manager, Tasha, called at 7 a.m., voice shaking. "Naomi, have you seen Twitter?" Naomi was already scrolling. Clips. Threads. Think pieces. People sharing their own stories of being followed in luxury stores. Screenshots of King Atelier's mission statement, "For the modern woman who belongs everywhere." The contrast was a knife. "Is the board on it?" Naomi asked. "We have an emergency meeting at 10. Investors are panicking. They think this could destroy Q4 sales. Someone to issue a statement saying it was a misunderstanding and offering a discount code." Naomi laughed once, humorless. A discount code for public humiliation? Her boyfriend, Marcus, leaned in the doorway of her bedroom, watching her with worried eyes. Successful black tech founder. Grounded. He'd woken up to her shaking hands and a screen full of headlines. "You should tell them who you are," he said quietly. "Shut this down. Let the world know the woman they humiliated owns the brand." Naomi stared at the video again, at her own small figure framed by luxury she had created and a system that still saw her as a threat. "If I make this about me," she said slowly, "they'll spin it into a personal misunderstanding. A one-off mistake. HR training seminar. Tearful apology video from Lauren." She looked up at Marcus. "That cannot be where this ends." At 10 o'clock, she joined the board call. Faces in polished home offices appeared on her screen. Mostly white, mostly older, all stiff with fear. "Naomi," said Richard, the largest investor. "This is a nightmare. Our customers are furious. We need a clear PR strategy." She listened to them talk around her at first. Words like optics, damage control, brand equity. Someone suggested suspending the employees for a week and donating to a racial justice nonprofit. No one asked how she felt being treated like a suspect in her own store. No one asked how many times she had warned them this could happen. Finally, she spoke. "You don't have a PR problem," she said. "You have a culture problem. And it's been here from the start." Richard frowned. "Naomi, with respect, this isn't the time to overcomplicate. We just need the story to die down." Her chest tightened. Betrayal always came dressed as reason. Overcomplicate? Her voice stayed low. "Your staff profiled a black woman on camera in a store named after her. The world saw what we really are. This isn't overcomplication. This is reality." An awkward silence. Another board member, Ellen, cleared her throat. "What do you propose, Naomi?" She already had the answer. It had formed in the cold air outside the store, solidified as the video spread. "Fire everyone involved," she said. "Publicly. Announce it. Then overhaul hiring, training, leadership. This brand cannot be run by people who see black wallets but not black humanity. The board members exchanged looks. Richard shook his head. We can't fire people on the internet's command. That sets a dangerous precedent. Lauren has been with us for years. We'll push her to the outlet store. Quietly. Let things calm down. We issue a statement about misunderstanding. You appear in a video with her. Unity. Healing. Then we move on. Unity, Naomi thought bitterly. Always code for protect the comfortable. Marcus, listening in the corner, raised his eyebrows in disbelief. Naomi felt something icy settle in her stomach. In that moment, she understood exactly where she stood, a black woman allowed to be the face of a brand, but not its conscience. Elevated enough to make them money, not enough to threaten how they operated. I won't share a camera with a woman who treated me like a thief, she said. And if you choose to protect them over the people they harm, you'll lose me. Richard leaned forward. Naomi, you don't mean that. You love this brand. You built it. Don't throw everything away over one emotional moment. Over one emotional moment. All her memories flashed, being asked if she was lost, in her own early pop-up store, donors assuming Marcus was the CEO, security called on her at a past launch event. It was never just one moment. It was a chain. I'm not throwing anything away, she replied. I'm done begging for basic respect in a company my name built. She ended the call. Marcus sat beside her. What now? Naomi stared at the city skyline from her penthouse window. Beneath it, the mall that housed her flagship store was barely visible, a glossy rectangle of commerce and ego. Who owns the mall? She asked. Marcus blinked. Some Ari, I think. A holding company. Find out, she said. Call whoever you need. I want numbers. I want to know what it costs to buy the building that hosts my humiliation. Marcus studied her face. You're serious? Naomi nodded once. If they won't let me clean my store from the inside, I'll buy the ground it stands on and start over. Her phone buzzed again. Another viral thread. A black designer she admired tweeted, "They love black culture, not black people. Imagine if we controlled the luxury space ourselves." Naomi's chest tightened. She thought about all the talented black designers she followed, the ones who sent portfolios that were too urban or not our aesthetic. The ones always almost chosen. She had money. She had rage. She had visibility. What she needed now was power that no one could vote her out of. Marcus's laptop clacked as he started searching. Okay, he said slowly. The mall is owned by a private investment group. They're struggling. Foot traffic down. Pandemic leftover debt. They'd probably listen to a big enough offer. Naomi exhaled. Something in her steadied. How big? She asked. He told her the number. It was obscene. It was also possible. Her brand. Her holdings. Her stock. Her personal investments. Her past sacrifices. She could do it, if she was willing to risk everything she'd built to build something better. The video of her humiliation replayed silently on the TV. Lauren's hand digging through her bag. Kyle watching like a guard dog. The store full of merchandise that bore her name while erasing her dignity. Naomi looked at Marcus. Call my lawyer. Tell her I want a meeting with the owners. He squeezed her hand. You're about to shake an entire industry. Naomi's eyes stayed on the frozen frame of herself on the screen. Good, she said. Because I'm done being the one who gets shaken. The world thought they were watching a scandal kill a brand. They had no idea it was fueling the most expensive revenge she'd ever buy. 3 months later, the staff of the King Pavilion Mall gathered in the atrium, confused and restless. Store managers in sleek blazers. Security guards in navy uniforms. Cleaners in faded polos. Sales associates clutching their lanyards. A memo had gone out, mandatory all-staff meeting. New ownership announcement. Attendance required. Whispers filled the space. Rumors had been swirling. The viral incident. The protests outside the mall. The petitions calling for boycotts. The mysterious change of hands gossip. At the far end, the King Atelier flagship store glittered. Same marble, same mannequins, same cold beauty. But its windows were covered now with a massive temporary mural, silhouettes of black women in motion, heads held high. The logo was gone. For now. Lauren stood near the back, jaw tight. She'd been temporarily reassigned after the incident, then mostly kept off the floor. She'd received death threats online. The company had paid for PR advisors. She still didn't believe she'd done anything wrong. Just following protocol. Kyle shifted beside her, restless. He'd been under investigation but kept on payroll. HR had told him to lay low. Probably some billionaire buying the mall, someone muttered nearby. Hope they don't cut hours again. A small stage had been set up in the center. On it, a podium, a screen, and a woman Naomi recognized instantly, her lawyer, crisply efficient in a dark suit. "Good morning," the lawyer said into the mic. "My name is Denise Harper. I represent the new owner of this mall." Murmurs rippled. "The King Pavilion Mall," Denise continued, "has officially been purchased by NK Holdings, an independent firm led by its sole majority owner." She paused. "Naomi King." Silence. Then a wave of gasps. Heads turned in unison toward the side entrance where Naomi stepped into view. No hoodie today. She wore a tailored black suit, simple gold earrings, sleek hair pulled back. Not overdressed. Not trying to prove anything. Just fully, unapologetically herself. Employees who recognized her from the viral video froze. Some dropped their gaze. Others stared openly, shocked to see the woman they watched get humiliated now walking in as the landlord. Naomi took the mic from Denise. Her heartbeat was steady. The echo of her steps on the tile floor felt like punctuation marks. 3 months ago, she began, I walked into my own flagship store in this mall, dressed in a hoodie, no makeup, just a black woman shopping alone. No one moved. I was followed. My bag was checked. I was treated publicly like a thief. Not because I did anything wrong, but because some people here looked at my skin color and decided I didn't belong near luxury. Her voice did not shake. She had practiced this speech only once, staring at the reflection of that viral video. The rest was coming from a place far deeper than any script. A lot has happened since then, she went on. Videos. Statements. Opinions. But while everyone argued online, I was busy buying the foundation underneath all of this. She swept her hand around the atrium. The King Pavilion Mall, every store lease, every corridor, every security camera, now sits under my company's control. I didn't just buy back my dignity. I bought the building where it was attacked. A stunned hush hung over the crowd. Somewhere near the front, a black cleaner named Rosa pressed a hand to her mouth, eyes shining. A young black sales associate from a neighboring store gripped her friend's arm, barely containing a smile. Naomi looked directly at Lauren and Kyle. Their faces drained of color. Here's what's going to happen, she said. Effective immediately, every staff member involved in profiling that day is terminated. No severance. No quiet reassignment. Your behavior is not a misunderstanding. It is a liability and a stain on everything this space is supposed to represent. Denise stepped forward, reading names from a folder. Lauren. Cut. A security supervisor who had laughed in the video. Their terminations were legal, final, and immediate. You could feel the power dynamic shift physically. People stepped slightly away from the fired staff, as if making room for a new era. Lauren sputtered, "You can't?" Naomi cut her off with a look, not cruel but absolute. "I can," she said. And I did. Security escorted them away, not with violence, but with the same firm detachment they had once reserved for people who looked like her. Naomi waited until the doors closed behind them. Then she turned back to the crowd. "This is not about public revenge," she said. "This is about public accountability. Some of you in this mall have been treated like you're invisible, overlooked for promotions, ignored when you reported bias, asked to swallow humiliation to keep a paycheck. I know, because many of you wrote to me after the video." Heads nodded. Eyes glistened. "From today," Naomi continued, "this mall will be rebuilt as a place where black money and black presence are not treated like a threat." She clicked a remote. The screen behind her lit up with images. Portfolios of black designers, sketches, campaigns that had never been funded. These are 20 black designers whose work has been rejected by major luxury houses. Starting next quarter, they will occupy the reimagined flagship spaces in this mall. We'll fund their collections not as charity, but as investment. Equity. Ownership. Rosa whispered, "My cousin applied to one of those brands. They told her she wasn't on brand enough." Naomi's eyes swept the room. Job postings will be reopened. Leadership roles will prioritize qualified candidates who know what it is to be underestimated. Training will be rewritten from the ground up. Security protocols will be redesigned by people who actually understand community, not just control. She paused, letting the weight of her words sink in. Some of you will lose your jobs because you refuse to change. Some of you will finally be promoted because someone powerful is watching who you've always been. Her voice softened. Your uniforms might say you work for them all. But I want you to understand something. This place now exists to work for you. To prove that luxury doesn't belong to one race, one zip code, one old idea of who looks rich. In the front row, a young black designer named Jada, who had DM'd Naomi after the video, stood with tears in her eyes. Naomi had flown her in last week, signed her, walked through her sketches personally. "Jada," Naomi called, "step up." Jada walked to the stage, trembling. "This," Naomi said, resting a hand on her shoulder, "is the new face of our designer wing. Her line drops in 6 months. Many of you will help build it, sell it, protect it. When customers walk past her store, I want them to see not just clothes, but a door that once was closed being forced open." The atrium burst into applause, tentative at first, then fuller, carried by people who had waited their whole lives for a moment like this. Naomi found Marcus in the crowd. He'd slipped quietly to the back, watching her with pride that warmed her more than the power or the building ever could. Their eyes met. This was the love thread in a story about hate. Not just romantic love, but love for self, for community, for people who'd been taught to shrink. Naomi took a breath. "I was followed in my own store," she said, voice carrying across the marble and glass. "But I am not here today as a victim. I am here as the woman who bought the floor they walked on." She let the line sit. "Racism tried to make me small," she finished. "I answered by getting bigger than the walls that tried to contain me." The applause rose again, echoing off every polished surface. Outside, cameras were already rolling. The internet that had watched her humiliation would soon watch this too. A black woman, once treated like a suspect, standing as landlord, investor, and architect of a new reality. Within a year, headlines would read, "Black-owned mall becomes hub for overlooked designers." Customers would travel just to shop in a space built on justice instead of just aesthetics. Young black kids would walk through the doors and see themselves reflected in every window, not as risk, but as luxury. But for now, Naomi just stood there, heart pounding, anchored in the moment. She had walked into a store and been treated like she didn't belong. So she bought the mall, cleared out the rot, and filled it with people who had always deserved to be seen. Love for her people. Hate for injustice. Betrayal turned into power. The CEO who was followed in her own store had just rewritten what it meant to be followed, because now, the whole world was following her lead.